starting with you, Robert.
Okay, grade 2. So, just starting us off, can anyone remind us what did we learn in our number talks when we did it with Ms. Renda's class? When we did that, I'm going to put a number just quickly up here.
I'm going to tell everybody, Mr. So, everybody, last night, Mr. So did a presentation to, oh God.
Let's just review this. What was the strategy that we talked about? The number, well, I think it was like 3 strategies we talked about for that, right? Decomposing. So how would you kind of decompose that?
So the first number we call it 50 because it's the tens. And then the other number we just call it 8.
Okay, what about here?
We call the first number 20, and then the other number just 2.
Okay, and then what do we do?
Then we add, we say 50 plus 20, that is 70. And then the other numbers are left, we say 8 plus 2. 8 plus 2. 10. And then after that,
So 70 and 10. Then what was the final answer?
it was the final don't tell me.
Okay, you need some help? 80, yeah, when we add them together, right? Okay, so that was decomposing, right? What was the other one that we... What was another one we learned? Shiny?
Number line.
Okay, so can you explain a number line to me?
First you have to put a straight line. You have to start with the 58.
Yeah?
And then you need to add 30.
You want to add 30? Why did you add 30?
Because our answer is big, because it's going to be 80. If we add maybe 30, we'll get something bigger.
Okay. Well, what do you think I would add to grade 2's to it? 58 plus 22. What am I going to add to my 58 using a number line?
10.
10? Okay. What's that going to be?
60.
68.
I put another 10, so it's going to be 78.
Why 2 10s? Where's that coming from?
It's coming from the 2 right there.
20. Perfect. So that's 78. And then what am I going to add left?
Add the 2.
Good. And what do we call this one again?
Number 1.
Okay. What was the last one that we learned about? What was the last one we learned about? Pity?
Compensation.
Good. And how would I do that?
So, you have to have a number question. You have to have a question, and then you take something from that question and add it to the other question.
Yeah. So if I have this here and I want to take this and I want to make it friendly, right?
Yeah.
So how can I make this number friendly?
I can put the 2 in the 50 and then the 8 in the.
So if I add 2 to here, what does that become?
52.
58 add 2 becomes 52?
No, 10.
Yeah, but which 10? What do you think? Manry?
60.
58 plus 2.
You got it.
58 plus 2. 60.
60, that's right, Manry. So 60, and then I took the 2 from here, right? So that now is,
I need to add that 8 to the
Right.
2 side.
so this was 58, but we added 2, and this was 22, but we took away 2, right?
Yeah.
So it balances out, right? And we called that compensation. Okay, so that being said, all these strategies here, I want to, Miss Renda wants to come and help too.
We're going to look at our work from yesterday.
Yeah, we're going to look at our work from yesterday. So the first person that's going to come up is, Akam and Levine and Tavleen, right? And you guys, I want you guys to explain how you used your cubes, right? What was the first thing you did with your cubes? Okay, you can come up and talk. You can record.
Just for fun, can everybody review the problem with us first?
Oh, yes.
Oh, sorry.
Good. For us that don't know what it is.
So our problem that we did was we talked about Martin Luther King, right?
Yeah.
And Martin Luther King is who?
Who changed the world?
He changed part of the world, right? Because he stood up for the slavery that was happening and for the inequalities that was happening between people with black skin versus white skin, right? And we said that he went on a protest to Washington, right? And the protest was that marching where he made that big speech, I Have a Dream. And we said that along the way, 37 people, he had a whole bunch of people going with him, and along the way, 37 people decided to leave for a bit and recruit more people. When they left, Martin Luther King was left with 58 protesters. But we wanted to know, how many people did he start with? That was the problem. Switch places, and Ms. Renda's actually going to copy down what you said and how you did it, just underneath
this side, and I'm going to move over to this side.
Yeah. So girls, what was the first thing that you did?
We had it 37 cubes, then we baked part with 10 cubes.
So you started with 37 cubes,
Yes.
and then you decided to break the cubes into
10.
tens.
Then we put another 10, then we counted like 10, 20, 30 like that.
Where did you get the other tens from?
We matched the cube with the 10, like the 10 cube, we matched it with the other cubes, and we broke the 10s.
Where did you get the other tens though from? Just randomly?
From 50.
From the 50. So you did the same thing with 37 that you did with the 58?
Yeah.
And then you just kept taking tens and tens. What happened when you ran out of tens?
We counted 10s all over again.
Yeah, and when you ran out of 50, what happened? What did you do with the ones that weren't 10?
We used the first ones to do the 50 again.
Okay, so you did 30 and the 50. What happened with the ones that were not 10?
What did you do with the 7 that were left and the 8 that were left?
We used the 7 and the 8 to make 57.
I don't know if it...
So let's look at the numbers again. So we had 37 snap cubes, and you said that you broke them up into tens. But how many groups of 10 were you going to get with 37? How many groups of 10 could you get?
110. 3 tens.
Yes, 3 tens. You had 3 tens, right? You had 10 plus 10 plus 10, but that's only 30. And then you had the 7. What did you do with the 7? Because you couldn't make it a 10.
We added 7 to it, that made 37.
Okay, so you added the 7 back to your 3 groups of 10?
Or did you do that after you added the 50 into it?
After.
After you added the 50.
So you broke your 58 into groups of 10, and that would have given you how many groups of 10 with 58?
50 groups.
Not 50.
8 groups.
Tevleen, how many do you think? In 58, how many groups of 10?
Look, I can see it up on your work up there, can't I?
Yeah, we did it up there in the work.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we broke 50?
Oh, yeah, look here. So we have 58, and then it says how many tens here? Can you read that?
5 tens.
5 tens. Okay.
Good. Okay. Can someone tell me, in their own words, what did the girls do? How did they start off the problem? And then you girls listen to make sure that they say it back to you properly, okay? What did they do? Kimmy?
So they added 37 blocks, 37 cubes.
Yeah.
And then they broke the 37 cubes in the tens. And after that they broke
and then they figured it all together, how much all those 10s equal?
It equals 30.
Yeah, we said we had 30. Then how much all those 10s equal?
95.
That's after the 8 and 7, right? Just the 10s though.
If we were to add this 50 and this 30, what would we get?
You did it up there. Look up on your sheet.
So you started from 30, and then you were skip counting by tens until you got to what? Where did you stop on your number line?
80.
80, okay?
And then you added the 8, 7 and 5 and 8 and we got 95. Thank you very much, girls. I want you to have a brief conversation with someone next to you. What would we name their strategy? Okay, what can we name this strategy? Adesh, what would you name the strategy? Decomposing. And why would you name it decomposing?
Because they said they broke numbers apart.
Yeah, they broke numbers apart.
They used a number line.
They did use a number, and at the end they did use a number line to kind of help visualize their thinking. So I'll say with a number line. But their main line of thinking, right? Their main strategy was a decomposing way of thinking, right?
They used skip counted.
Yeah, and they skip counted and added on
Number line.
using with the number line. Good. Okay, the next one, Ms. Renda's going to showcase, but I want you to pay attention to the similarities and some differences between the two when they explain it, okay?
So can I get Ekampreet and Ishan?
You guys can sit here. See where Ms. Renda is.
Okay, so can you boys walk us through kind of the steps that you took? How did you approach the question?
We started by 37. We used a number line. We started by 37. Then we added a 10.
Okay.
And then we got 47. After that, we added another 10. Then we got 67. We keep on adding.
Oh, hold on. You got 37, you added 10, you got 47. Then how did you get 67?
No, 47. Then I added a 10. Then we got 57.
Oh, 57, okay.
Then we added another 10. Then we got 67. Then we added another 10. Then we got 77. After that, we added one more 10. We got 87. Then we added a 5 to get 92. Then we added a 3 to get 95.
Okay, so I'm following you with all the 10s. Now, where did you get your 5 from? So you split it into groups of 10. You got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Right, you added 50 to 37. And then why did you have to add 5 and 3? Why couldn't you add another 10?
Oh, because the 10, if you put a 10, it's gonna be like 97.
And it's too much, right? That wasn't our answer to the question. Okay, and then what did you guys have here?
Oh, this is
Your explanation?
yeah.
I don't know. I was still confused. Where did you get the 5 from?
Yeah.
Is someone else confused with that?
Yeah.
We got it from 50?
No,
I don't know.
it's hard.
Do you want to have a talk? Talk to yourselves. Where do you think they got the 5 and the 3 from?
No, how can we get the
Where would you get that?
I think they got the 5 from the
What do these represent? What do these 10s represent? What count? 10?
10,
So this is 50. Where do you think this comes from? Why would you use 50? Why 50? What two numbers are you adding together?
I think they got it like 5.
What two numbers are you adding together? Up there. What two numbers did you add together? What two numbers are you adding together?
37
So where did you get this 50 from?
From the 50.
Okay, so then what's this from?
95. So that means it's the same thing. So you got so it's 50. Because if you're are you getting confused?
If you have 50, what's left then?
So the 50, right? Yeah. Like you did, there's 95.
It's 58, and I've used 50. What's left?
95 and
8. So what do you think this is?
95. Then that means they both.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Look at me. What did you guys discuss? Siren?
If it's the 5 is from the 50 because the 5 represents 50 and the thing that the Acom strategy did because that equals 85 and then that equals 85 in their answer too, so that means 50. The 5 came from the 50.
Oh, this little 5 came from the 50, or
The 5 came from the 8.
this little 5 came from the 50?
50, yeah.
Sorry. Does everyone agree with that?
No.
Would 5 come from?
No. Unless it was 55.
Would it to represent 50? What value would I need to have? What value would I need to have for 50? How many ones would be in 50? Trick question.
5, no.
How many snap cubes would you need for 50? 50 of them, right? 5 though. So where would that 5 come from?
8.
Rimple?
The 5 and 3 came from the 8 because 5 and 3 equal 8 together.
And then Ishan and Ekampreet's 10 came from the 50, right? So together, 50 and 8 make 58. Thank you very much, boys.
Good job.
You want to add similarities?
Okay, can you take 1 minute with an elbow partner? And you are going to wait first. You're going to look at the two work samples, and you're going to think about the strategies that we talked about. That we had our first group with Loveleen, Tavleen, and Ekam use, and then what Ishan and Ekampreet used. Okay, so how are the strategies similar, and how are they different? See if you can think of one or two things with your elbow partner.
I think they're because the answer is 95. Right? Because the that means they're all the same. But the only thing that's different that you did decomposing and they did the number. Yeah, because
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Eyes are up here. Let's hear what you talked about. Yes.
That both of them started from 37 and then on Ecom side they added like 10 and on Ishan and Ecom side they just added they broke the 8 apart.
Okay, but, well, if we're looking at the number line, this number line started at 30, and this number line started at 37. Did they both start at 37?
No.
But what you did say was that they broke the numbers up. They broke the 30 and they broke the 8. So what strategy did they use that was similar? Decomposing. Anyone else have any other similarities? Something that you noticed that was similar in what they did? Yes, Puneet, I know your name.
So over there, when they added the 10s, they had they added 5 tens, and over there on Ishan and Akampit's strategy, they used 5 tens too.
Very good job. Very good.
Then after they had a 7, but they didn't have a 7, but still they added 5 and 3 on the same side.
Good. Now I can see one more thing that's similar just by looking at these. Can anyone else notice it? Yep.
They both used their number line.
They both used a number line. Yes, they both used the number line. Now what about differences? And for this one, it might be a little bit hard to see, but you need to think back to what they said, what they were talking about when they were explaining how they started solving this problem. So you can't really see it on here, but think back to what they were saying. Yeah.
Jacob and Levine used decomposing and Ishan. No, there's a decomposing.
Well, I think we agreed that they both did use decomposing. They were making the numbers smaller and then adding the numbers back together. But where is my girls that were in this? Can you remind us, how did you start this problem?
We started the snap cube.
Thank you. They started with the snap cubes. Did Ishan and his partner?
No,
Did you use snap cubes?
No.
Okay, so is that a difference?
Yes.
Okay, so one group decided to use the manipulatives, they used snap cubes, the other group did not, but they both came to the same answer, and they were both using the decomposing strategy. Anything else we want to add? You have one more thing? Yep.
Yeah. Over there they had
Which one? This
on
one?
the
Yep.
Tamarind and Acre. Over there they added a 7, an extra 7, but in Ishan and Akampit's group they just added 5 and 3.
Okay, good. So they kept their number as a 7, and that they, on their number line, broke it into a 5 and a 3, but that would have been 8,
Yeah.
right? Because they were taking that from the 50. They were taking the 7 from the 37. That's why the 7 and the 8 were different.
When we are adding, do we need to break apart our very first number?
No.
Why wouldn't we do that? Why wouldn't I need to break apart the first number to make it easier?
Because if you're adding it, you won't have to break it because the number that you're gonna add to that is the number you're gonna break apart. Yeah.
Yeah, I can actually keep that first number, right, and just add to that number, add on to that number. Now, sometimes it is easier to like, when we think of this, it's easier to add 50 and 20, and 8 and 2, depending on what's needed. That's why I liked both of those strategies. The only thing, girls, I was thinking for the next time that we do it, do you think that we, instead of using snap cubes, we just can look at the number and say, oh, there's 3 tens, we just know we can break apart, right? That's the biggest difference that I saw between Ishan and Akamprit's and Akam, Tavleen and Levine's, right? That they needed the snap cubes first to see how many tens. But now do you think you can look at any number and see how many tens there are?
And you did a really good job of that when I was up there, and I was asking you, how many groups of 10s did we break the 37 into? And you were able to say 3. And then same with the 50, you were able to say 5. Right? And you didn't have snap cubes up here. So it was really well done. And
Well, I'm looking at time. I want to show you one strategy that no one did, but we talked about it in our number talks before. And I want to kind of push a lot of your thinking, because a lot of you did this and then also did it like an algorithm or decomposed. But I want to push your thinking for a minute. I want to see if you can see what happened. This is a strategy that I've seen other students do before. So, see if you can follow along. So we know that it was 37 plus 58, right? We know that? This is what someone did. They turned this and just said, Mr. So, that's 95. I know that because 60 plus 30 is 90. And then the 5. Well, you talk to someone next to you about that. What did they do?
They turned They choose
Did they choose different numbers?
5 plus 0 is 5.
What strategy did they use?
But am I not asking the same question?
Plus 6 is 9.
No, but look at Mr. Sofa that you just did. Way down there in the purple. Right? I don't see a number line. There's no number line on that one. And where did they get 35 and 60? It's like 37 and 58.
And 95 and they turned 37.
They got it from 50?
So then how do they change it then? Well, it's lunchtime. Oh, no.
12:50.
Yeah, 12:50. Yeah, someone's coming at lunch.
5 plus 0 into 5. 3 plus 6.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. So, what do you think happened to the students' work? What did they do? I know this might be a little advanced for some, but I wanted to push your thinking a little bit more. Jasmine?
Decomposing?
They decomposed? Decompose. What does decompose mean? So did this person break? Other than right here, they did do some sort of. They did do a little decomposing here, but what the main thing they did?
Is compensation.
They didn't really write this. I'm writing this so I showed you. They just told me. They said, Mr. So, the answer was 95. They looked at this and said, here, it's 95 because of this. But they did it all in their head. So what did they really do? Riva?
50 plus 30. So they plus 50 plus 30.
We're looking at this one over here.
Is there any 50 in here? Dash? They changed it into a friendly number. How did they change it? They just randomly chose a number and said, hey, you know what? I like 70. That number is better than anything else. How did they change it? How did they change it? Shiny?
Maybe because the 37 there's a 7 because the second number that they did was 35 and 60. The 7 actually is close to the 60 over there.
So 37 is close to 60?
No, I mean only the 7.
So 7 is really close to 60 or 7 is close to 6?
I mean 7 is close to 6,
But what number is this?
60.
60. Is it 6? Is 7 really close to 60? No. But I think you're on the right track that you saw something happening from this number to this number.
Yeah, I mean.
The 58 is close to the 60.
Oh, 58 is
the-
close to 60.
And the 37 is close to the 35.
Ah, and how far apart is 58 from 60?
2.
2. 2 more, 2 less.
2 more.
So really they added 2 here?
I wanted.
And what about 37 to 35?
Minus 2.
Oh.
Compensation. I needed to tell you something. That's what my idea was.
So you mean that they used compensation? Was that? Think back and reflect for a minute on your strategies that you did yesterday. Which one do you think is more efficient, faster, simpler to kind of think through? What you did or what this student here did?
Over there.
Why is this one more efficient? Arshdeep?
Because they didn't like just turn it the 37 to a friendly number. They minus 2 and they didn't make it a friendly number. They made it an easier number for them to add. And then when they added the number that was easy for them to add to the other number, and they got the right answer.
Do you think this is something that you can try the next time we add?
Yeah.
Okay, my last question before we end, and I want to do our learning goals at the end too, kind of review our thinking. I asked you all this question when we kind of walked around. I struggled, and I know when we talked as teachers, we struggled with the problem too. Why did you add?
Remember we kept asking you that? You'd say, we're done, but you didn't have that. We were asking you, why did you add? Tell us why you chose to add. Why didn't you multiply? Why didn't you divide? Why didn't you subtract?
Why don't you talk to your partners really quickly? And I want Archie to kind of explain it, because we talked about this, right? Did it ask you that? Did it actually say add these numbers together?
We added, you know why? Because
Shiny, do you have a partner? Do you know why did
But
you
how
add?
do you know it was added?
if we were to add, it would have
Is it?
37
How many people? Yeah, but didn't talk about words on the walls. I said how many balls? Well, how many just means total, right? Why? The first question, how many do we give? There's something else in that question. Okay, Archie, why don't you come up and explain to us what that math sentence that you did.
We added,
You don't have to write the sentences, just do your number sentence. Remember your number sentence that you had?
yeah. So we made a blank, and then plus,
What's a plus?
minus 37 equals 58. And so when we got the answer, we made it a 95.
But you put subtraction there. Why add then?
Because if we subtract, we could get the 58. We could get what we're gonna add to get the total. And when we get the total, we could also do a subtraction. We start from the answer and then minus what you're gonna add from the 58. And then we knew that the answer was 95. We didn't, so we explained.
We don't know that answer, right? We didn't know it was 95.
Yeah, when we added, we got another. We started from when we got the answer. We started from 95 in a subtraction way, and then we knew that we're gonna subtract it to 58, and then it told us what to subtract, which was 37.
Hello?
And then when we subtracted it, we started from we knew that the total would become if we add 95. So we made the answer 95, and
Okay, I'm just a little confused because you wrote subtraction. Does everyone get that? Why it was subtraction there? The way he wrote it. What happened at the beginning? Do we know how many people started with Martin Luther King? No, we don't know that, right? Then what happened in the problem?
37 people left.
37 people left. What does that mean? What operation is that?
Subtraction.
Subtraction. And then at the end, how many people do we have all together?
Mr. Soul, is any of these yours?
Probably, but I'm busy right now. What happened at the end? So 37 people left, and then we were left with what?
58.
58. So we have something, take away this, equals 58. So then how come we have to add them?
How do we find that blank number?
How do we find that blank number? And why is it adding? I think, Kimmy, you said something to me today. What did you say about that blank space? You said something about how many?
How many if it means minus, it still means it's the same way, but it's just how many is given, how many.
But the problem, did the problem ask us how, like, you remember Miss Renda's question, or Miss Ewert's balls question from the pre-prompt that we did? That was how many balls did Miss Ewert give to Miss Renda? We subtracted there.
Because I know it said how many, but it said give, so it means you minus.
Okay.
And but when it says how many is in total, it means you can add.
Did it say in total? What did our question say? How many did we start with? If I subtracted this, what's going to happen to my total? What happened? What answer would I get? Would I get a big answer or a small answer? Would that make sense to the problem?
No.
No. We had a whole bunch of people and people left. Right? If we started small and people left,
Would he still be left with 58?
Would
He
we
was
still be
left
left-
with a big number.
right? We'd actually have left with that. And it's because addition and subtraction are
That's opposite.
opposite operations, right?
So this is a really good way to check your answer. So you can go back, you now have 95, and now you can turn it into a subtraction sentence and see if you still are going to get the right answer.
And I think that's what you were trying to get to.
You're trying to check your answer, right?